next time I saw him, I was 16 years old. We went back to my grandparents' house where my father lived. We get to the house, my father's not there. So I'm asking everybody, where's my father at? Have you seen my father?
My father wasn't that active in my life. I was basically raised by my mom. She took care of me, my brother, and my sister. I was the middle child of three, in which she tried to instill both the mother and father aspect of everything, growing up.
Mainly, I guess, throughout the course of my 37 years of age, he's really not been active in my childhood. It's just one of those things that I guess, for whatever reason, he chose not to be.
To me, it's tough to be a man in this world when you can't, or you don't have your identity. And the Father gives you identity. And so I made a lot of mistakes I feel like I wouldn't have made if my father had been there.
My grandfather raised 5 of his daughter's children, and I can honestly say he raised me and my brother, and I called him daddy to the day he passed. And he was most definitely a bright and shining example of manhood, of fatherhood.
I lived with my stepfather, who was active daily with me, but my real father, so to speak, was someone who lived in the community. I would spend weekends with him occasionally. So I actually had 2 fathers.
He was a good dad, took care of us. There's 5 of us. Always was in our life, never did anything wrong to us, tried to guide us. He passed away about 8 years ago. He had cancer, and I loved him, and he was a good man.
I was a coach's son growing up, so I mean, he was so active. By the time I got to high school, I was happy he wasn't my coach no more. Actually, see my dad be a father to a lot of the kids by being a coach. It was a lot of kids who didn't have dads, and I always wondered why does he have this big van picking up all the kids, taking all the kids to practice, feeding all the kids, and taking all the kids home. For a minute, I just feel like, it's my daddy. Come on now, do this for me. But, after a minute, I kind of understood, like, wow, they actually love my dad, and they look up to him, and it's like that to this day still.
I had nothing to model myself after. So not having any model to model myself after or to put myself together as a young man growing up, I was left only to pretty much put myself together and based upon what it is, my own ideas of a man, whatever it is that I thought a man would be. And of course, outside the door on 54th and Arlington was the young man that was dressed in red. And I started to model myself after. So it was just a lot of misguided manhood, and it led to a life of crime and other things.
I would be considered what you would call a telephone dad or a telephone father or a letter father, meaning incarceration. I left when my child was 10. My oldest child was 10, and when I came home, she was almost about to be 28. So I missed all that part of her life. It's hard not being the one that was there for a wedding, missing a wedding, seeing my child married, but I wasn't there for that. Or what hurted the most was knowing that my grandbabies was born and I wasn't there to be there either.
If my father was here right now, I'll say, what took you so long for you to come visit me? And why haven't you came and seen me in the past 3 years?
Being with my dad, it affects my dating choices in a way where I pay attention to how boys treat their families, their parents, because I think it's really important.
One of the things that stands out that my grandfather willed to me as qualities to look for in a man are the work ethic. Beyond the surface, beyond the facade, beyond the exterior, is the work ethic and his desire to be a family man.
gives me great pleasure to be able to enjoy having the family all together. In a lot of cases, we have baby mamas and baby daddies, and my wife and I are married, and we've been married. We're coming up on 15 years, and I have no other children except for the children I have with her.
As a father, we're the guy that always says, you know, hey, you need to shine your shoes, you need to fix your tie. Mom says you didn't make your bed. So that's pretty much our job. So at some point we have to say, you know, all the stuff that I ran by you, you did a great job. And I think until that happens, we have men who are looking for things outside of their home.
And I see this man 2 or 3 blocks away coming up the street. As this man gets closer and closer, I see that he's a bum. He's a wino. That's when I knew that was my father. And that's when I knew I was by myself.
What I hope for in the future from my dad is nothing.
Wow. It is my hope that with this project that kids, men and women, can find encouragement by the different experiences that you have seen, that you have heard, and that it will help you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
But we owe it to our children
Ron Z,
to be the best
Young
parents
Maestro,
that we
Little
can.
C. Got a message for you. Positive. Coming at you. Father, son.
Who running with us? Who wanna mess with us? Who can't compare to us? Like father, like son.
Who wanted with us? Who wanna mess with us? Who can't compare to us?
Like father, like son. Who running with us? Who wanna mess with us? Who can't compare to us? Like father, like son.
Who wanted with us? Who wanna mess with us? Who can't compare to us?
Like father, like son.